I'm gonna be honest with you. We didn't have BK last week as he was um doing a lot of things that white folks do in a lot of areas where white folks are. I believe Maine, Vermont.
And for good measure, Connecticut.
Connecticut, yeah. Well, that was. I mean, if we're talking Hartford, that's all right. But I mean, but no, he was out.
I landed in Hartford, but
Okay.
I spent the time in New Haven.
Oh yeah,
where the Yale campus is at.
That sounds like it.
But there was some diversity.
I'm sure there was. Yeah, why not? I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been worried about BK. I've been worried about him. Listen, we've been doing this show, and I learned about 2 years ago that BK's an emotional fan. I didn't know. I learned in game during our text exchange that BK, he'll quit. He will quit on a possession. He will, but he'll come right back though. If he sees the glimpse, he'll come back.
Ron's mom, in other words.
Yes. There's a towel. Like he's got a towel that he throws in, but he'll take it right back.
Wait, I didn't mean to.
That time where he announced how much he hated this team, and then 2 weeks later, after the Bengal win where they kicked 7 field goals, I think he was back. He was back. So I was concerned after watching these last 2 games that we haven't heard from you. Like, where are you at right now in your fan boat? As they tricked away the game against the Chargers, but Serda picked them to lose to the Eagles. I thought they would win. I don't know what you did. How are you feeling? Where are you at right now? Are you at a high level of concern? Or where are you?
So I will say my life has changed a lot, Ron. I now have a 2-year-old running around, and I have much bigger things to worry about than the middle of a football game. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't get emotional, but I think it's changed a bit over the last 2 seasons. That being said, I picked the Chiefs to lose this game. I did not think they were going to win. And I'm not freaking out. I have been actually a little surprised by the amount of freak out that I'm seeing. Man, they've lost 2 one-score games against 2 really good opponents. I was much more concerned after the Chargers game than I was after this Eagles game. This Eagles game was like, all right, so the defense fixed a lot of the issues that they had. The Eagles had 215 yards of total offense. It was the fewest yards that the Chiefs had given up in a game since that 2023 season. Like, at no point last year, when we thought the defense was pretty good for the most part, at no point last year did the Chiefs give up fewer yards in a game than they did on Sunday against Philly. Now, if you want to make the argument, that's because Philly knew coming in, hey, as long as we don't give this game up, the Chiefs can't win it. We're just better than them. All right, maybe there was some of that going on, but I didn't leave this game freaking out at all. I felt like they fixed some of the issues that were legitimately concerning coming off of the Chargers game, and many of the issues that they still have at least have some kind of an answer or an explanation for them. So am I worried? Yes. If it doesn't get fixed, it's going to be a huge problem for them this year. But I still would project the Chiefs to make the playoffs. I still think they've got at least a chance to win this division. And if they get in, I mean, the AFC has not exactly run away from them. I have not been impressed by the Bills' defense. I think the Ravens have their own problems so far this season. I don't think there's a perfect team in the AFC. The best so far might be the Chargers, who you played within 1 score when everything went wrong. So I say all that to say this. No, I'm not freaking out about the Chiefs. I think they're ultimately going to be okay, but they do have some issues that need to get corrected.
Yeah, they have plenty of issues. It's been really funny to see how all of this has shifted as if they aren't the winningest team of the last several years in the NFL. And all of a sudden everybody's under indictment, and Brett Veach is the worst general manager in football who has let this roster just totally fall apart and has not done anything with draft picks and let Tyreek Hill walk and traded Joe Tooney and traded L'Jarius Sneed. Like, it's just so reactionary to 2 games. Granted, yes, like I was way more concerned about them in week 1 than I was in week 2. Week 2 was still frustrating. It was still annoying. Still highlighted everything that I was frustrated about in week 1, but with some minor improvements to make me feel a little bit better about them overall.
I think the defensive performance was more than a minor improvement.
It's
from the Chargers to the Eagles.
But also, like, I don't want to like totally write off the Chargers performance, because the Eagles right now are like the least pass centric team in the NFL. And so I think there's something to that. But it's just, we don't have to do this. We don't have to. I get that, like, yeah, we want to believe the Chiefs are a Super Bowl team. We want to believe that they're a playoff team. And if they aren't, that sucks. But also, it's okay. Most teams aren't. And the Chiefs have been that for a long time now. Been the most successful team over the course of a season, a modern day dynasty after Tom Brady and the Patriots. But now that we're just like picking and choosing and nitpicking all of this stuff is just annoying, as if they haven't done a good job of like putting together this roster based off of the limited draft resources that they have. And the fact that they're not picking in the top 10, like even like during the Josh Allen era, the Bills have had high-end draft picks. Like Justin Herbert, how do you think he got those tackles? Like, they've had high-end draft picks. During the Patrick Mahomes era, they've literally never had high-end draft picks. They've literally never had the resources that some of these other teams have had that everybody wants to point to now and say, like, oh, these teams have done a better job of drafting or developing or doing whatever than the Kansas City Chiefs have had. Like, they've done a good job. They've won multiple Super Bowls. Maybe it is finally over. I don't think that's the case. But also, that happens in the NFL. It's tough to do this all of the time.
My only real pushback on this, Serda, because generally speaking, I agree with most of what you just said. I don't think that Brett Veach had a great offseason. I think, and I liked the signing. I condoned it. I said all offseason it was my favorite signing that the Chiefs made. The Christian Fulton thing so far has been an absolute disaster. We're early on, but he was hurt most of the offseason. And since coming back, he has not played particularly well. Now he is once again hurt. And they paid him the money that could have very easily gone like direct 1-for-1 replacement to Justin Reed, who was a safety that had played really well here. And it's looking like the Chiefs are missing one of their safeties right now. So that part of it, the Chiefs having what is a $20 million right guard right now, and yet not being able to run the ball successfully is super weird to me. Hollywood Brown, if they knew this is what he looked like behind the scenes, it makes me a little worried because he looks terrible so far this year in my eyes. So it's one offseason, the running back situation. Like, I thought they did an okay job. I condoned them going back with Isaiah Pacheco because I thought, hey, if he's healthy, he was fine 2 years ago, and then he wasn't healthy last year. Let's give that a shot. So a lot of this was the same stuff that I would have done, frankly. But, hey, man, you're judged by your wins and your losses as a general manager. And I think Brett Veach has had a lot of really good off seasons. So far, we're 2 weeks in, but so far, it appears that this roster did not improve by a whole lot, if any, based upon the additions that he made in the offseason outside of basically Josh Simmons. So this offseason, I don't think he had a good offseason, but overall, I think he's done a really good job.
Are you done, Stephen Serda? Are you kidding?
I mean, I can keep going if you want.
Are you kidding me? That's all the pushback. I got a little bit more pushback, a little bit on what you said, Steve. I had some sort of take that I was going to give that was nice and well ready to slide under what BK did, and maybe I will give that because I am glad that BK sets up. Serda, no, it is not okay if this team doesn't make the playoffs. No, it's not. No, they have too many good players on this team, and Patrick Mahomes is 30. It is not okay with Patrick Mahomes and Worthy and Rice when he comes back, and Chris Jones and even Kelsey, who we'll get to later. and Spags.
I think they're
and
a playoff
Andy.
team, though.
No, but
I don't know if
but
they
you
win the
said
Super Bowl,
that
but that maybe that'll change when she writes.
No.
Let's see.
You went through this whole thing of work. Like you're trying to set yourself up for it's okay. It's gonna no, it's not okay. No, yes. And Chiefs fans are allowed to be a bit psychotic. Okay. And there are higher
I
expectations.
saw somebody say today by the time they actually make this roster good enough again, Mahomes is going to be 35 and like on the back end of his career. Like that's where we're at now. They just went to 3 straight Super Bowls.
Yeah, that's also as silly as you just saying. And it's okay if this team isn't a playoff team this year. No, the hell with that. No, it's not okay. And listen, they need to, and I believe they will get this shit together. Okay, there aren't enough good teams like it for you to say it's okay for them not to make the playoffs. Who in the South? There better not be another Jags or Colts and Texans. Like they get one. They better be better than them jokers. All right, the East. All right, I don't even know who the second best team is in the East. It's Buffalo and a bunch of sorry teams. Now Joe Burrow's going to be out for 3 months. And the Steelers all of a sudden can't stop people, right? Like, and Aaron's, the way he's getting hit, he's not going to survive.
I think Serda was just kind of cooking, and he let that one fly a little bit. I don't think he meant it all like missing the playoffs.
They have to make the playoffs.
No, he picked up the spatula a second time. He picked up the spatula.
Oh no, the greatest start to an NFL career in history. And finally, he didn't make the playoffs. Holy shit! You're like every other NFL team now.
I disagree with you on this.
It's an issue. It's an issue if LeBron is 30 out of the East and doesn't make the playoffs, and he's playing the whole time. It's an issue. Okay, we're just not accepting. I don't care how many Super Bowls they won in a row. All right, they got how many? How big is this? Their salary cap?
Chris Jones. If they made the 7 seed, they'd be the scariest 7 seed.
Chris Jones is
everybody would be terrified of Mahomes.
Chris Jones is making big money. You just gave, as you said, $23 million to your guard. Your tackle's making $20 million. Mahomes is making what he's making. Get out of here. No, they damn well got me setting alarms and stuff in here. They damn well better make the playoffs. Now, I am glad that you said what you said. You said worry. I will say everything I just said off of that. I think any Chiefs fans or any person that looks at the Chiefs situation and say, oh, they're not concerned. Oh, man, they'll figure it out. I ain't got concern. Now that's BS. All right, that's silliness. No, there is concern. There is absolute concern because right now, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm in a good spot. I'm cool. Not in a good spot, but I'm cool. All right. They've lost these first 2 games to what seemed to be good teams. And I think they didn't just make mistakes. They made big time errors that I think led to them losing these games. I mean, just big time. And that's the thing to me is we understand they've got reinforcements that are coming. Not to mention, not a lot of people said anything at the start of the game. They just dropped 2 more defensive starters in the middle of that game, and Dana and then Fulton started. Like I felt like he was going to probably play a lot more in this. That's on one side. They just dropped those 2 guys to start the game. I understand they've got a lot of help coming with Rice and Worthy. And again, that is a huge deal, obviously. With those 2, your top 2 threats out of the lineup. But to me, that's not been the biggest thing. The biggest thing is the mistakes that they're making are just ridiculous. I mean, ridiculous. Like everybody's talking about, the Mahomes to Kelsey. Clearly, the game is different if that is executed, and that should have been executed, right? It hit Travis's hands. He's got to come down with it. I will say that I do believe Patrick. I think Patrick lies a lot of times to help his teammates out. I do think that they were just off on that throw, and I think Pat was a little early on it. It happened earlier in the game. Kelce just made a hell of a catch when he came out of his break. I mean, he was letting that ball go before he'd even turned out of his break. And it hit him right in his hands. He caught that one. This one, it popped perfectly in the air to 24. Like it just popped perfectly in the air. Andy lost his damn mind and forgot what game he was in to go for a 4th down and 1 at his own 35 with his team, with his defense shutting them down throughout the game to give them 3 points. And not to mention the play call. Hey, how about it? Let's lead Noah Gray 1-on-1 to Nolan Smith right off the bat. There's silliness in this thing, right? Butker's missing kicks. Mahomes is missing throws throughout the game and highlighted by the Tyquan Thornton blunder. They made plenty of mistakes and errors in this game without the reinforcements that are coming that you got to believe. All right, I think Travis and Mahomes are going to most times get it together and connect. I think that I feel good that, man, 9 times out of 10, Trent McDuffie's got a chance to make a play on a punt ball up in the air 1-on-1 that he's probably going to make that play.
That's the one play I don't expect him to make, and it's really frustrating that I don't expect him to make it. But he's so good in every other area and so bad at that one. But go ahead. You're on a roll here.
I'm just saying. Like Noel Williams does it on the other side. I just think maybe he's got a 9 times. All right, 7 out of 10 times he gets a hand on that or does something that doesn't occur. Right? Andy doesn't lose his mind and just say, "All right, man, I'm gonna go super aggressive." He goes. You kick a 58-yard field goal and you go for it, on your own end to set up short fields for them, right? So those are both their touchdown drives right there. Not to mention the penalties. They got 6 or 19 penalties in the 2 games. So I'm not off the reservation. I think you're lying though if you're saying you're not concerned, because if they lose Sunday and we come back here, it's a whole different ball game. Like this is a code, whatever, fire 10, whatever, DEFCON 1, whatever type of situation if they go up there and lose to the Giants. And the real concerning thing is right now the way that they go about things, Jack, they're liable to lose to anybody. The way that they play, the way that they're playing right now. They're in a situation like there's not anything on the schedule right now the way they're playing where you say, yeah, they'll win that game. Like you feel really good. I think they'll beat the Giants, but there have been many years, these past few years, we look at it. All right, man, I gotta go lose to the Cardinals. They're liable that they can lose to anybody.
Ron, if they lose this weekend, we'll pick them to lose against Baltimore. We will pick them to lose against the Detroit Lions. It's a 50-50 proposition at best on the road to take on the Jags. If they lose this game, any game between now and week 6 is closer to the loss column than it is the win column. This is a big one. It feels like there's pressure on this one because I didn't feel that going into the Eagles game. If you lose, you lose. It's one of the best teams in the NFL, especially if you keep it close. There's ways that you can show signs of progress coming off of that disastrous week 1 performance, despite the close score. There were ways for me to feel better about them even in a loss. And I do feel better about them even in a loss. That's not the case here. If you look bad and or if you lose against the New York Giants, my tune will completely change. And suddenly, instead of saying I'm not that worried, it's 0-2. I know what the odds are. It's 12% of teams that start 0-2 make it to the playoffs. The odds have been against the Chiefs doing anything that they've accomplished thus far. No team has ever had this kind of success in this span of seasons. So, whatever. Tell me the odds. I don't care. You go to 0-3, and it includes a loss to that Giants team. Now we're starting to have panic mode. That's when the freak out occurs, and that's when we will be talking about what Serda mentioned, which is, can this team even get to the playoffs? Forget having success when you get there. Can you reach them?
This feels like a 1 seed playing a 9 seed in the second round that has, all right, let's just get through this, right? Like, all right, let's come in here and try to get started fast, and let's not let them hang in. So we play tight, and they get confidence. That's what it kind of feels like, right? Even that's the thing. Even with the guys they have missing, and it looks like they probably will get Worthy back. And we'll see how many snaps he gets and what he's able to do. But like you should beat the Giants, but the Giants have enough talent compared to the way you've been playing. It could be problematic, and it's a lot of pressure in this game that you cannot drop this. All right, let's do this when the Chiefs get the ball, because I think this leads into my thinking of this game. I think there's a lot of different things that we can go to with the Giants and their defense and the Chiefs offense. But before we get there, I just have a plea. I don't even recognize like what they're doing and how they look. We have watched the Chiefs offense under Andy Reid we're past. This is 12, 13 years we've watched Andy's offense. And we've seen the way it looks when Alex is quarterback. We've seen the way it looks when Patrick's the quarterback. We've seen the way it looks when Matt Moore's the quarterback. We've seen the way it looks when Chad Henne's the quarterback. I can't think of who else was jumping in there those years with Alex. I remember he had a spleen issue. It is leaving me. Who would have
Chase had a game or two there.
Chase Daniel, that's a good one. Yeah, we've seen what this offenses look like. They don't look anything like what we've seen. Anything like what we've seen. There isn't any space. There isn't, like, nobody has any respect. I mean, even teams didn't used to have respect for Alex, and they seem like they have more space than this. They don't run screens. I've counted 2 screens all season. They both were executed poorly. One of it was the center snapped it into the ground, and then that threw off the time, and then Hollywood caught it and ran out of bounds, and they had to go for it on 4th down. And then they just had a terribly executed screen to Pacheco. They didn't run one screen against the Eagles. Like, they didn't, like, I went through and watched it. They didn't have one screen. Andy Reid, I feel like I haven't seen a tight end screen in years. That's probably a lie, but I feel like I haven't seen one in a while. We don't even see that. Used to be a major staple to them. They're not going down the field very much. They're not even running routes down there. I mean, I've turned on the all 22 and I have watched multiple possessions where they'll have 4 guys in a pattern and nobody goes past 10 yards. And there's not a safety in a corner backing up whatsoever. I mean, I've watched it. I watched them one time have Juju, Noah Gray, Kelsey, and a running back come out. They all ran 5-7 yards, turning around immediately. And it's just like, what in the hell? I watched another film where they roll Patrick out. Kelsey's running in front of them. They're fooling nobody. And then the other 2 receivers are running their routes to the other side of the field. There wasn't even another receiver. And it became like a 1 yard. It is just odd to watch them. They don't even look like themselves. I'm watching, as we're taping this thing, I'm watching the Dolphins and the Bills. And I've watched teams all around. There's space. Like, every time I watch the Chiefs, they catch a ball, they're going down, Jack, and not just there is space just created. And I mean, they just look like they're playing a different sport offensively at times. And it is weird. I would like to see them get back to looking like the offenses that we've seen them run.
I think part of it, Ron, is like, this is Andy's offense. I think one of the main differences, yes. So this is the offense that Andy used to run with the Eagles. It's the offense that he ran, I think, very early in his tenure with Alex Smith before they changed things and started relying more on Alex's legs. And then eventually they started taking more deep shots when they got Tyreek. It's dependent upon yards after catch. That's what it is. This West Coast based system is all about get the ball in your playmakers' hands, get it out of the quarterback's hands quickly, and then the receiver, the tight end, the pass catcher, whoever it may be, running back, get the ball in their hands and they will make a play with it. The problem that the Chiefs are running into right now, man, and this is what you got into there with the lack of space that is being created. Who are you afraid of if you're the opposition? I'm not afraid of Hollywood Brown. He can't break a tackle. He's averaging 8 yards per reception. On the season, he's been targeted 21 times. He has 129 yards. That's a really good average for a running back. That's basically what Jamal Charles did for his NFL career as a runner. He's doing that on a yards per attempt basis. That's horrible. Travis Kelce just isn't the same guy that he once was. That's not a shot against him. It's just the reality. Tyquan Thornton, I think, might be their best receiver right now, and that's problematic. These guys just don't scare you. The running game doesn't scare you. Nothing about this offense scares you right now other than Patrick Mahomes running the football, and that scares me. So I don't like anything about the way that the offense is constructed. I agree with you, Ron. And I think it's why we need to see more deep shots this week. You can't keep reverting back to what you've been. Now I think is the time that Andy has to look himself in the mirror and say, hey, I'm part of the problem. Them relying on Andy's offense as much as they are is part of the issue with the offense. But you look back through his time in Kansas City, he's always had, almost at all times, an elite playmaker. Even when Tyreek Hill has missed time, there's still Kelce out there and in his prime. Early on, it was Jamal, who they could do all of the things that you're talking about with the screens. Get it in his hands, he goes makes a play. You had Macklin there for a little bit, then Tyreek. So it's really just been the last few years where you haven't had that. And even in that time early on, up until last year, Kelce was still basically in his prime. So I think that's a big part of what's happening. Andy hasn't adjusted to his personnel at all. It's a huge problem.
Serda, maybe I'm tripping. And I'm not going to say you're wrong on that, BK, because obviously they clearly switched things up late in the second half of the season last year to adjust to injuries and stuff. And they in their line, they exclusively seem to go to quick game. But I'm sorry, I don't even see Kelce rarely running the same routes that he used to run. I don't even like MVS used to. I mean, he might drop them or they don't connect, but they're running routes down the line. I mean, there are. Like, I think that's the reason why Tyquan Thornton is running free all the time in the back of the behind the defense. They're never running anybody back there. I mean, they're just, maybe I'm tripping. It's just, I'm looking at them, I'm like, damn, everybody just ran 7 yards.
To me, it just feels like, and like Kelce certainly doesn't have the explosiveness and the speed anymore. But like he's shown a little bit, like he beat Cooper DeJean one-on-one. Like Cooper DeJean's one of the best slot defenders in the NFL. Like Kelce still has a little bit of the juice. I just don't think he can do it on an every play basis anymore. But when you're watching it, it just feels like it's a like they want to run the offense with Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy in like that Tyquan Thornton role. And Rice is going to pick up yards after the catch, and Worthy's going to win downfield, and Worthy's going to win over the middle and things like that because he's fast and he's a good route runner, and I think he's a better wide receiver than people give him credit for. But they don't have those personnel right now, and so they're just – and maybe Jalen Royals changes something because Jalen Royals has been practicing this week, and it seems like Jalen Royals is trending to possibly be available in this game. And it would be amazing if he gives them some kind of boost because he's a much more similar player to Rashee Rice than Hollywood Brown is, obviously. But they're just, it's like Rashee Rice suspended. They move Worthy into the Rashee Rice role. And then Worthy gets hurt. They move Brown into that role now. And like Tyquan Thornton is in the Worthy role. And it's just like everybody is playing out of position, and Tyquan Thornton, for what he is, has been fine. But Tyquan Thornton is the Justin Watson role. He's not somebody that you want to feed targets to, and he's not somebody that needs to be a significant part of your offense, even though Mahomes has missed him. Like Tyquan Thornton.
I'm gonna push back on that a little bit.
But That's
I'm just saying
but
Tyquan Thornton, to the point you're saying,
no,
Tyquan Thornton has been open to where he should have
sure.
he should be a top 10
I
receiver in yards.
I think Tyquan Thornton is a good player. Like, he's a hit for the Chiefs offense. But all of this just feels like Andy Reid and the Chiefs, like, instead of like changing things up and trying to like make things easier on everybody early in the season and trying to like navigate all this, it feels like they're just running into a brick wall trying to run the offense with the personnel that they don't have available right now. And they're not changing it for whatever reason, which is the most frustrating part.
I think another part of this is, man, there's a lack of answers. Like, I agree with everything you guys are saying. I said it myself. I want to see different versions of this offense. I want to see them try different things. I want to see them continue to push the ball down the field. Part of it, though, is, man, they lacked the answers to do those things. They have no running backs right now. Like, Kareem Hunt is a fine 3rd and 1, put him back there. He is a battering ram, tries to get you a couple of yards. Pacheco looks like a shell of himself right now. Like, if they wanted to try Rashard Smith for a little bit of time here just to see what it looks like, I'm cool with it. I would love to know what in the world happened with Elijah Mitchell. Is he there? Like, if you can't crack this running back rotation right now, then I don't totally know why you're still on the roster. Because if you can't do it now, it ain't happening later on. It's not going to get easier than it is currently. So I just think they lack answers, man. And until, I mean, Xavier Worthy getting back this week hopefully will be huge. I have no idea what he's going to look like with this shoulder issue. Maybe Jalen Royals can provide a little something for him. Certainly when Rashee Rice comes back, that'll be helpful. But I think some of this just holding on for dear life to get through these first 6 weeks. And then hopefully once you get to week 7, you're in a spot where you can still make something happen.
Yeah, I mean, they got to back teams off to me. And I think everybody sees the quick game, the routes. Everybody is hugged up. I've not seen a double move. Like, they've got to back guys off. Again, that's why I said, like, maybe Tyquan Thornton is not as good as he's showing, but Tyquan Thornton is consistently, when he's going downfield, getting open. I mean, I could think of 5 times off the top of my head in the last game. Hell, 3 on one drive. They went 1 for 3 on it. Up the sideline, he drew a pass interference penalty that many people don't remember because we had a hold that offset it. But he had run a corner route and run right past the guy, and the guy to reach out and just grab him. Like, I don't think he's that great. Like, I don't think they're about to find but I'm just saying he keeps getting open down the field, and they've got to use that. All right. I want to get to what I know what scares you, but you brought up Kelsey, Serda, and I think there's a space to have a legit conversation about Travis Kelce. And I think many people are looking at, man, he's been really bad. And he's done some things. He's had 2 real major moments that have really hurt the Chiefs. He took out Xavier Worthy on the 3rd play of the game against the Chargers. Hell, in that game, him and Mahomes had a miscommunication on what should have been a walk-in touchdown, in which he just stopped instead of running through, which seems like it was clear for him to do. And then he has the one off his hands that is the interception in this game against the Eagles. He's had some blunders, and he's admitted to it. He's had to get on his damn podcast for the past 2 weeks to come and apologize and not doing what he needed to do for his team. But hey, he looks good though. If you take away the weird stuff, he's clearly better than he was last. Like, he's clearly in a different space than he was last year, which I think you can start to run. Like, you brought it up, Serda, you took it from me. I was hoping you wouldn't say it, but what he did to Cooper, and then he got 24's ass too. And I don't know what is the reason, we stopped running him on crossers. I don't know. I feel like he got a gain of 23 once. He got a gain of 16. And then on fourth down with Pat threw the ball at his toes, he picked it up off the ground after he shook 24's ass and ran and got another big play and decided to hold the ball out, palming it for some reason on the outside of his. He looks good. Like, I'm not saying he's, Kelce from 2 or 3 years ago when he was an all-pro, but it is a clear difference in Kelce. And when Worthy comes back and when others come back and Rice come back, he's going to beat one-on-one coverage. And there is going to be space for him to get to places. He is like the moves and his ability to create separation. I know he has looked and had 2 real boneheaded plays, right? I couldn't believe he outran everybody to the end zone. Buddy had an angle against the Chargers. I didn't know he had that in him. And in this game, like, he's getting run after the catch. Like, some of those look like the 49ers Super Bowl where he's coming across and he's running. I understand he has had 2 major blunders, but as we look at moving forward and saying, can the Chiefs offense pick up? It is clear to me that they're seeing like, oh, he is able to separate, and it is a clear difference. A clear difference. Like, this is at the very least, he looks like the playoff version of Travis Kelce 2 years ago in the, at Buffalo, at Baltimore 49ers run. He looks like that. So I know Travis has caught a lot of heat, deserve it. But if you take away the blunders, he's clearly an asset. Like, he's clearly somebody that when there is more space and focus goes other places, he's going to be so.
I agree completely with everything you just said. You told us beforehand, hey, I've got to take on Travis Kelce, and I don't know if you guys are going to agree with it or not. He's not prime Kelce. He was never expected to be. He's 35 years old, right? But he looks so much better than he did last year. Last year looked like he was dragging his legs across the field most of the season. This year, he looks spry. I mean, he looks like an NFL athlete again. And for most of the season last year, that was not the case. And we thought it would change once he got to the postseason like it did 2 years ago. And it just never did. It never got better really for Kelce. So I've been really impressed. I think he looks like what he was 2 years ago when he got to the postseason. I agree with you.
And that's a big change. And that's a big change.
That's all you could have asked for at this age, given where he's at right now in his life. Like, that's best case scenario for Travis Kelce. And I do think this is why I'm still leaving the light on for the offense and why I'm not freaking out about it just yet. If and when we ever get Rashee Rice back into this offense with Travis Kelce playing like this, and hopefully, even if he's like 80% of what he was a year ago because of the injury with Xavier Worthy, if you have those 3 players on the field with Patrick Mahomes out there, that offense can win the Super Bowl. We'll see on the defense, but that offense will still be capable, at least, of winning a Super Bowl. It's just a matter of getting all those dudes out there. It's what makes this first 6 weeks so frustrating to navigate, because it's almost as if we're talking about a team that's not going to exist 3 weeks from now.
Because sort of that play, the specific play on the goal line where it leads to the interception, and Joshua Williams got on a literal horse and rode down and caught that gentleman.
Josh Simmons.
Who do I call him? Joshua Williams. Man, he could play a little bit too. But Josh Simmons got on a horse.
He's
He
not.
got on a horse. But
Simmons has more tackles than Williams, I think, this year.
he does, clearly. But if Rashee Rice is there, there's no way that he's double teamed. And if he is, Rashee Rice is beating somebody. Like, there's no way he's double teamed right there. And if he is, Rashee Rice is on the other side beating somebody, right? Like that. Like, you could just sit there and just say, all right, man, we're going to double him. Hell, I can cover. And real quick, I'm going to move on. That is the best way that I can describe what this offense feels like. They feel like, it just hit me right there. That's what all their plays look like, Serda. They look like, even on the 25, they're running goal line. Like goal to goal offense.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. It looks like there's a boundary that's stopping them for running. That's the best way I can describe it. As I was looking at those routes in my mind, and that's the routes they look like they're running all the time.
It's no because it's like they don't trust the offensive line. They also don't trust anybody to get open. And so it's like you drop back and it's like 1, 2, 3, get the ball out as fast as possible. Like, and then when it doesn't, then Mahomes takes off. And now Mahomes is your leading rusher through 2 games. And he's got more rushing yards than your running back room does combined because that's the only thing that they're doing that's effective. That's the only way they can create chunk gains because their passing attack is just non-existent.
BK, are you as we look at, we're still on Chiefs have the ball. I'm sorry, we got to get this out, guys. That what Serda just brought up, the offensive line. That is clearly, I think, at least still a work in progress for the Chiefs. But that is clearly the strength of the Giants. Sexy Dexy and Brian Burns and Thibodeau, and then the kid they just drafted. I mean, they got some dudes up there, especially when they're rushing the passer. Is this the number one thing that we need to look at when the Chiefs have the ball?
It's the one thing that really worries me. This game should not be particularly compelling if not for the fact that the Giants have like 2 strengths of their team. And what's super annoying is that both of them are the exact weaknesses for the Chiefs. And on this side of the ball, they've got a pretty good pass rush, man. It's legitimately talented. It hasn't been as productive as I would have expected it to be thus far, but they've got the kind of talent that they can absolutely wreck a game. And it makes me anxious. I felt the same way a little bit going into that Eagles game, especially with their interior. A guy like Jalen Carter can absolutely wreck a game. Kingsley did better than I expected going into that one in that matchup. Dude, it's not just
felt like Trey might have been worse.
Yeah, it's not just one guy against this team, though. It's interior Dexter Lawrence, as you mentioned, and then on the edge, you've got Thibodeau and Carter and Brian Burns. It's a tough matchup. So that's my biggest concern, and it makes me think you're going to see even more quick game in this one, and it might be annoying, and it's probably going to lead to some frustrating drives, but yeah, it's the number one storyline. Chiefs offense against the Giants defense. Can you neutralize their pass rush, and if so, how do you do it? That's got to be the number one mission, the number one priority for the Chiefs.
Brian Burns has been awesome so far this season. Maybe they haven't gotten enough out of Abdul Carter, but like they're so deep along the defensive line that they haven't even needed him to look like he's like a game wrecker yet. And Dexter Lawrence was coming back from a season-ending injury last year, but he's looked really good. Like their defensive line's a problem, and Dexter Lawrence especially scares me with the questions that we have with Kingsley on the interior, because Dexter Lawrence is like legitimately. There's no like legitimate, like it's like him and Vita Vea are like the only guys in the NFL that are like legitimate like nose tackles, but also they have no business being as athletic as they are and like can also like rush the passer a little bit because they're such ballers.
Yeah, fuck that. They've got the 2 highest. They've got the highest paid players at their positions, correct? Center and guard, right? Like, come on. Creed, Trey, hey, he's good. Creed is the best center in football, correct? Trey Smith.
That's what I've been told, but I keep watching the offensive line and they keep being not good. So I don't know how long I can say Josh Simmons is good as a rookie. Creed is the best center. Trey Smith's a top 5 to 10 guard. And Jawan Taylor, despite all of his deficiencies and all of the penalties, is a good tackle, especially in the passing game. I keep hearing these things. I keep believing these things. And then I watch the Chiefs offensive line and they're not good. So I don't know.
It's also something we've seen for years, like especially with Trey Smith.
So hold on. Trey
Smith has reps where he looks like the best guard in football. And then he has a lot of reps where he looks like he's struggling.
So how do you think the O-line has been bad through the first 2 weeks? I've done from a pass protection perspective.
This is the thing. I think it's been like average maybe slightly above average because
Clearly
most
better
offensive
than
lines, if
last
we're
year.
being honest, are bad. So yes, I think it has been better, and I think the most important thing is that left tackle has been good or solid at worst. But my frustration level, Ron, is that they have invested as much or more than any other team in the NFL on the offensive line, and they still can't get a yard. So if you can't get the short yardage situations, you can't just run it behind the ass of your two top paid guards and centers in the league. And you can't seemingly consistently, at least, put together a strong pocket for Patrick Mahomes. I keep believing the things that you're saying about this being a good offensive line, but then I watch the football games on Sunday, and every Sunday I leave saying, I don't know, are they good? I mean, they have talent. It's a super weird phenomenon that's taken place.
Well, I'll say this. I think I've not come away from these games and thought, damn, the offensive line is like sucked. Like I came away a lot of games, even ones they won last year, thinking, oh my God, they survived, but that offensive line was awful. I don't think they're getting a lot of help. Right, like, and now they're a part of some of it. I think obviously the run game does not help them. And I think that's from 2 points. I think it doesn't help them because they aren't the Charger game. I mean, you can't hand the ball off 10 times. And think, all right, boy, I'm gonna really shake somebody off to fear the run game. Right. So and they're not successful at it. So there's no fear there. Nobody is running down the field. Nobody is running down the field to give them any space. And so because of that, like the Eagles, they just blitz like hell repeatedly to get to give them problems. So I don't think they're getting a lot of help. By the way, I would say when they handed the ball off to Kareem and ran it behind their asses, they did get a couple of yards on fourth down. When they went on fourth down and tried to run behind Noah Gray as the lead blocker to the outside on Nolan Smith, they didn't get the first down. So listen, I think it's a big task for them, and they've got to run the ball better. But I just I don't know, man. I think they've played better than it looked, and I think there is some residual effects from last year with Mahomes, who's thinking the pocket is closing down, and there are multiple times that he didn't have to bounce, that he didn't have to leave, and he left the pocket, and it makes a pressure occur that shouldn't have occurred, and he even admitted it when he spoke to the media earlier this week. All right, when the Giants have the ball, listen, I'll let you take this where you want to take it, Serda and BK. I mean, for me, and I'm in one place, and that is obviously the pass rush is the big thing that jumps out to me. Is Spags is just like, I cannot get pressure unless I send the damn house nearly. And all of that to me comes down to where the hell's Chris Jones? Where has he been? They played 2 games. I got 2 memories of him. I got a memory of him going hero ball and cutting inside, and Drew Tranquil, for good measure, getting in his ass for just being selfish. And then I got a memory of a hot mic picking him up, telling him, you didn't throw for 100 yards. No, they won the fucking game, and you didn't touch him all game. All right, so so to me, you are one of the highest paid players on this team and in the league, and you are a Hall of Famer and one of the best. And I think I believed a game changer. Are you going to get into the stat? I don't think he has been in. I don't think he has been credited with a statistic this year. I don't think he has a tackle. I just where is Chris Jones? He's got to be a part of this.
So cosign. Completely agree with everything you just said, and we're up against it, so I won't add anything more on that part of it. I will say this. Defensively, it's about one thing to me. I mentioned there's 2 aspects to this game that make it annoyingly potentially competitive for the Chiefs. One was their defensive line. The other is their deep ball. The Chiefs I mentioned, the one weakness that Trent McDuffie has, He's not great when you've got to go up and get it on a deep ball, track the ball in the air, and then potentially win a 50-50 ball. He's not great at that. Part of it is just the lack of length. He's not a big guy. This has always been the one real criticism about his game. He's small. And so in these spots, whether he's going up against A.J. Brown in the past, we saw it last week with Devontae Smith, it doesn't really matter. These guys find a way to go up and get it against him. Malik Neighbors can do that. Wan'Dale Robinson, despite his frame, is pretty good this year when going in deep and contested situations. Darius Slayton, his entire career has been, I go down the field and win those contested catches. So my biggest concern defensively is, how are you going to be able to navigate that? Are you blitzing the way you did last week? If you do, you better get home. Can you get home with 4? Because that pass rush will speed up Russell Wilson, and then he'll give you opportunities to potentially intercept it. That's very much in his game. The other thing is your DBs just have to hold up. And that is something that I don't have a whole lot of trust in, but it needs to happen this week. It's the one thing when they have the ball that scares me. They've got to find a way to slow down, not eliminate, but slow down the deep ball, because Russell Wilson was living with it last week.
It's the only thing they do well. It's the only thing they do well. Like, it's literally like Wan'Dale Robinson up until last week was like legitimate, like in the Hollywood Brown role in the way the Chiefs have been playing him his entire career. And last week it was just spamming everything deep downfield because it's the only thing Russell Wilson does good at this point of his career anymore. He can launch it down the field with a lot of accuracy, and he's really good at taking deep shots. It's the only thing he does good anymore.
If Brian Daboll and Matt, what's his name? The old Chiefs quarterback coach?
Mike Kafka.
If Mike Kafka, if they find a way to get Malik Neighbors in the slot, and 27 walks up on him, and he's singled up on Malik Neighbors in the slot, and they're able to dictate that, I will go get in the dryer and have my kids turn it on betting. I'm not going to watch the rest of it. I've done it. I can fit in my dryer. I'm going to get in it, and I'm going to have my kids close the door and turn it on betting. It's just, if he allows it, he did a good job not doing it last week. If he allows it. All right, get my music, Serda. A little certified or imposter. I'll make it easy on this one. Patrick Mahomes, and we can start with you, Serda. Patrick Mahomes is getting too much of a pass for the Chiefs' 0-2 start.
I don't think so. He's the only reason that their offense has looked competent at all through 2 games. So, yeah, he's missed some passes, and he needs to hit those, but if he's not running and trying to put this whole thing on his back, their offense looks way worse through 2 weeks without him.
Ron, I love your questions when you ask these. I think this is the worst one you've ever asked. No, he's the only reason anything about this offense is working. I think he's been amazing. I think Patrick Mahomes has been so freaking good through the first 2 games of the season, and he's being let down by everybody. And I mean everybody around him, coaches, players, everybody. Like, it's a nightmare to watch this unfold the way that it has. He's on pace right now for 1,000 rushing yards, guys, 1,000. And through the air, if not for drops and like just slight misses from some of these guys, we'd be talking about him putting together already a really impressive season despite the lack of playmakers around him. So no, I couldn't disagree with this one anymore. I think Mahomes has been really good so far this season.
I'm going to say imposter, but I think we got to separate the 2 games. The Chargers game, I think you guys are spot on. I think he was damn near perfect in that game. I think he missed Tyquan Thornton in limit. I think he missed Thornton once deep, and I think he missed Hollywood Brown. That would have been a touchdown in the red zone. But they weren't just egregious misses. The second game, I think he was great there too. And I tweeted out from our friend, the late Therese Paylor, this feels like an over my dead body game. But he wasn't he wasn't like the Chargers game in the Eagles game. He missed some pretty easy throws. And he's like that Noah Gray throw. I watched Chase Daniel break that down. He tried to put that on Josh Simmons. No, man, he had clear lane to step. He just absolutely just bombed that. And the Thornton one late, I think he had a throw for Thornton on the sideline on the third down earlier in the game that he just didn't give him a chance to get it in. I think he's running, and he ran more a few times where he didn't have to. And hey, man, you got to stop trying to run people over. I don't know what the hell that's about. Like he started that with the Chargers. That's got to chill. I'm going to say imposter overall, but the Eagles game, I think he played a much bigger role in that loss than maybe people are wanting to get credit for. All right, let's do predictions. I'll kick it off. Giants on the road, Sunday Night Football. I said this last week, but I really mean it this week. If the Chiefs are the Chiefs, they're going to win this game. And I'll be honest with you, I don't need a tight one either. They're going to win this game. They need to win this game, and I'm going to say 25 or 24-13. I think they're going to win this game. I think we look and see the Giants offense that played against Washington as opposed against Dallas.
Yeah. They're a better football team than the Giants. If they lose this game, then the red flags are up. But they should win. So I think the Chiefs are going to win this one. I'm going to take them to win 24-14, and hopefully it's a comfortable win.
Seems like we're all kind of in the same space. You can't possibly pick the Giants to win this game. They can't possibly win this game. I'm picking the Chiefs to do so. I think it's going to be, relatively speaking, closer than any of us would have liked for it to be because of some of those matchup disadvantages that I was talking about earlier. Got the Chiefs winning 23-17. Do not cover the spread. It goes under the point total. We're all kind of frustrated with the way that it goes, but ultimately this is a pass-fail game. If you win, you pass. If you lose, you fail. And then you get to advance to the big boss with the Baltimore Ravens the following week if you pass.
Whatever happens, our downloads are going to go way up. We are out.